And now, ladies and gentlemen, the posting of the colors.
Mark time. Mark. Color. Roll. Right. Face. Move. Color. Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Left. Face. Forward. Arms.
And now invite Chaplain Cummings to give the invocation to the ceremony.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this wonderful day that you've given us. We thank you for all the work and all the perseverance that's gone in to make this day possible and a chance to celebrate the accomplishments of these young men. Father, thank you for the faculty that have worked so hard to teach them and guide them and counsel them and all the work that they've done on behalf of these young men. Father, thank you for these parents who have sacrificed emotionally, financially to enable this day to happen for these young men. And Father, we'd like to thank you for the young men. We'd like to thank you for all the hours in the classroom, all the miles marched, all the tests taken to get us to this final day. Thank you for letting us be here. We thank you for life. Thank you for all that you do for us every day. We celebrate all the efforts that have gone in to make this day possible. Bless us this day. Amen. Amen.
Parents and guests, please take your seats.
Take seats!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2018 Riverside Military Academy Middle School Graduation Ceremony. Before we begin today's ceremony, we will hear a musical performance by our middle school band ensemble.
With light, hopefully.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was called African Festival. It was commissioned by and dedicated to the Judas Middle School Band in Lafayette, Louisiana. We have a couple of ringers in the band. They're not 7th or 8th graders, but they love to be in the band and love to play in the band. They've been here for quite a few years. If you wouldn't mind standing up, there, Cadet Cervantes and Cadet Paul, and on bells, Cadet McDonald. And Cadet Davis. The rest of the group, 7th and 8th graders, many of them, if not all of them, have only been playing for a semester, maybe 1 year, and a couple of just 2 years. And unlike other schools, we combined our middle school and our high school to make our awesome marching band. So let me ask, who is not in a marching band? 1, 2. That means they started just a few minutes ago. So let's hear it for these hard-working musicians. So our next piece is a piece called Colonel Bogey. This guy was a golfer. He loved to golf, and you know, when you hit the ball, you yell 4, and everybody looks to see if they're going to get hit with the ball. Well, in this particular case, he never did that. All he did was go. And if you know, if someone goes, you look, are they talking to me? So that is the basis for the melody, and I know you know this song, so when that comes up, you have to whistle. Okay? All right. So without further ado, our Assistant Director of Bands, Mr. Rossi, and the 7th and 8th grade band right here. very much. You know, it's, it's amazing how much power the band director has at the school when you see the colonels whistling. That's right, I made him do that. All right. We have a few things we want to give out here today. I'm also the Fine Arts Chair, and we have a young man who is extremely talented in the visual arts. He made a fantastic painting and won an award out in town, and in recognition of academic accomplishment, artistic ability, work ethic, character, and leadership in the Riverside Military Academy Visual Arts Program, we'd like to recognize Troy Beyond. Another young man who just started in the music business with great vocal abilities, we'd like to recognize for his participation in the Riverside Military Academy Concert Choir and Chamber Singers, Rylan Peck. And in our concert band, we have a young gentleman that he just loved to practice and play, and he did a great job for us this year. It's his first year in the concert band, Mr. Cody Beyond. Yes, they are twins, and yes, they are brothers, and the only way I can tell them apart is one has a trombone and the other one has a paintbrush. All right. And, beginning band. Those are the guys that just started. They worked really hard this year. This one in particular came down, practiced a lot, and we're sure we're going to see him back next year. Cadet David Perez. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Just give us 1 second to do a set change. Appreciate it.
Battalion, attention, halt! Take seats.
Before we present the middle school cadets who will be elevated to high school today, I want to recognize those cadets deemed to be deserving of special recognition for their achievements in all academic areas. These awards will be presented by the Dean of Academics, Mr. Jamie Grimmer. In 7th grade English, Nicholas Salinas. Eighth grade English, Jacob Westbrook. 7th grade Social Studies, Nicholas Salinas. 8th grade Social Studies, Kevin Williams. 7th grade Math, Alejandro Guerra. 8th grade Math, David Perez. 7th grade Life Science, Alejandro Guerra. 8th grade Physical Science, Owen Lee. 'The President of the Academy will now acknowledge cadets for exceptional achievement, performance, and leadership within the Corps of Cadets during the 2017-2018 school year. These awards will be given by the President of the Academy, Lieutenant Colonel James Spivey. We will now recognize cadets who exemplify good conduct throughout the school year, which contributes to the good order and discipline of the Corps. A Cadet Good Conduct Achievement Certificate is given to cadets who have achieved 20 or more merits in service to the Academy while receiving 10 or less demerits for the entire school year. Will the following cadets please stand and be recognized as recipients of the Good Conduct Achievement Certificate? These certificates will be awarded to you at the conclusion of the ceremony by your company TAC officer. Ladies and gentlemen, please hold your applause until the end. Please stand when I call your name. Luis Alcerega, Cole Roddy, Christopher Cadillac, Connor Davis, Alfonso Garcia, Nikita Gassan, Alejandro Guerra, Tianyi Han, Joseph Hudson, Santiago Labarca, Jason Lee, Owen Lee, William McNack, Nikita Novak, Richard Acer, David Perez, Stone Phillips, Andrew Ross, Xavier Sepulveda, Elias Struve, Cody Sawanaku, Christian Vo, Jacob Westbrook, and David Zimmerman. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. The TAC Officer Commendation Ribbon is awarded to cadets that have demonstrated a consistent professionalism and reliability as a member of the Corps of Cadets, having earned the TAC Officer's recognition throughout the entire school year. Will the following cadets please come forward and be recognized? Cadet Alejandro Guerra. Cadet Kevin Williams. The Most Improved Cadet Award is presented to a cadet who embodies the most dramatic transformation in embracing cadet values in life at Riverside Military Academy, while demonstrating maturity and commendable conduct. It is awarded based on the TAC officers' year-to-date observations, and the cadets receiving this award are Cadet Stone Phillips, and Cadet Thomas Hamilton. The Outstanding Character Award is presented to a cadet that earns, relative to his peers, a substantial number of merits, receives, through a consistent quality of action, few, if any, demerits, and has evidenced rank achievement in leadership performance throughout the year. Cadets receiving this award this year: Cadet Cody Sawanaku, Cadet Nikita Novak. The Outstanding Leadership Award is presented to one cadet who exemplifies the exceptional attributes of character, ethical leadership, and academic excellence. This is a cadet who sets the example for others to follow. The award this year is presented to Cadet Elijah Sturgeon. Commandant's Superior Achievement Medal is given annually to one cadet in each grade who best demonstrates general military excellence and soldierly virtues, and that have distinguished him above his peers relative to the Corps of Cadets. Cadets receiving this award: Cadet William McNabb. Cadet David Zimmerman. all our recipients. Now invite the President of the Academy, Lieutenant Colonel James Biden, to come to the podium and give his remarks.
No? Well, my second official act as president is I'm going to reschedule this. I'm going to be at the end of this. So I have an invitation for you parents when we get done. We just got to beat the rain to get it done. Where are we right now? Let's go ahead. I think he walked me through this yesterday. I think I was doing 4 other things. So.
Well, let's present the elevation certificates. These will be given by the Dean of Academics, Mr. Jamie Green. Dollar Axonov. Luis Alcereca. Vincenzo Ascanio. Thomas Baker. Cody Young. Troy Young. Cole Rodigan. Otis Bryant. Jeremiah Burgess. Giacomo Canova. Cameron Conahan. Christopher Catalan. Aiden Cole. Jacob Cook. Connor Davis. Sylvan Dominguez. Wesley Durden. Eric Elder. Bakari Mary. Charles Evans. Isaiah Fuller. Alfonso Garcia. Salvador Huron. Lane Brindle. Diego Guerra. Zilan Lee. Nathan Guilford. Thomas Hamilton. Gavin Hyman. Christian Jones. James King. Luke King. Clinton Cohen. Santiago Labarca. Blake Lackey. Owen Lee. Chan Yang. Alexander Marchand. John Massey. Nicholas Lee. Brendan Metz. Nikita Novak. Oluwatamio Odutola. Richard Asa. Wesley Hall. Ryland Peck. David Perez. Joshua Brody. Andrew Ross. Lawton Sally. Xavier Sepulveda. Bobby Singh. Elias Struve. Emmanuel Time. Drew Tannen. Gavin T. Christian Bowe. Anthony Walton. Jacob Westbrook. Kevin Williams. Aiden Winsley. Hai Chen Xiao. David Zimmerman. Cadet Colonel Runny Wong, the 2018 Battalion Commander, to the podium. Thank you, Colonel Spivey, Dean Green, members of the faculty, family, friends, and most importantly, the class of 2022. It is indeed my honor to be here this morning. But before we proceed, graduates, you have an important task to perform, because besides you and behind you are your parents, grandparents, and guardians. 1 or 2 years ago, they drove onto Riverside's campus, dropped you off, accompanied you through registration, and turned around and drove back out of the gates. It was an extraordinary sacrifice for them, because they drove back to an empty and lonely house. But they did that because they knew that the decision about your education is about you, and it's not about them. That sacrifice, and many others that they have made for you, have brought you to this point today. So this morning, it is not just about you, it is about them too. So I hope that you will stand up and turn to them and give them a round of applause in appreciation for everything they've done for you. Thank you. Now, if anyone asks, how did my speech at Riverside go, I'll be able to tell them that it was interrupted by applauses. Congratulations, class of 2022. Today marks an important milestone in your educational journey and life. An important stage of your life is now behind you. Now, around the country today at colleges, high schools, and middle schools, speeches are given before the impatient graduates who just want to receive their diplomas and certificates. And in our case today, we're eager to pack our stuff and leave for the summer. And they almost always say the same thing. They would say that today is just the beginning, not an end, that you should look forward. While it is very important to look forward and figure out where you're going, it is equally important to look back and see where you have been. If you can recall, on your first afternoon at Riverside as a recruit on campus, you were perhaps a little lonely, or perhaps a little scared, and perhaps even a little anxious. Now look at you. You are surrounded by friends of whom you call brothers, and you are confident in facing the next steps in your education. It is worth to think why that is so. And when you do, I think you may appreciate that it is because the support of your classmates in the classroom, on the athletic fields, and in the barracks. And as far as confidence goes, I think you'll appreciate that it is not because you succeeded in everything you did, but because with the help of your friends, you were not afraid to fail. And if you did fail, you got up and tried again. And if you failed again, you got up and tried again. But it was not just success, but not being afraid to fail that brought you to this point. Waking up at 6 o'clock every morning and cleaning barracks while half asleep, marching to mess 1 before the first ray of sunlight even shines upon this earth in that shivering February morning in Georgia. What they share in common is that they are all part of our daily routines. Which, understandably, many may not understand. It is, however, something that every single one of you seated here today have experienced, endured, and shared together. These monotonous routines may seem, well, monotonous at times, and even sometimes pointless, but they are the routines that make you stand out among many. And they are the routines that make you who you are. They are the routines that make you unique. It is that persistence and perseverance and not being afraid to fail that brought every single one of you to where you are today. I firmly believe that people, as well as their values, are shaped not by monumental events and experiences, but by the minute moments in their everyday lives that are often overlooked. Every day we're going to make choices and decisions, whether they're big or small. But rest assured, by doing the right thing every day, that very same habit will carry you to making the right choice for the bigger things to fall into place. Look at some of the most accomplished people in our society, the masters in their fields. Kobe Bryant wakes up at 4 o'clock every morning to make 800 jump shots before his team gets to the training facility to practice at 11. It took Thomas Edison over 10,000 times to find the perfect material for the light bulb's filament. And J.K. Rowling, it took her 12 different publishers in 1995 for the first one to purchase and publish her manuscript of Harry Potter. And even then, she was told to find a day job. And any of them could have easily given up or caved in for once in the thousands of times they have tried. But they had decided to make the right choices every single time. They persevered when it comes to decision making. Or, in other words, in facing difficulties, they chose the harder right than the easier wrong. So you too, graduates, you can change the world, and you should start by doing the small things right every single time. So thank you all very much, and congratulations to the class of 2022. I'd now like to bring Chief Petty Officer Paul Green to the stage for a special presentation.
Well, that's an hard act to follow, isn't it? Colonel Spivey, Dean Green, faculty staff, parents, and of course cadets. I promise not to keep you long, but attack officers and cadets of Alpha Company would like to give our thanks to Rooney Wong for the contribution that he's made to the school and Alpha Company. There's not a member of staff, faculty, or cadet he is not touched by his presence. Runry, before graduating, was a battalion commander and achieved the status of valedictorian. He was also one of two in recent times to be promoted to full colonel. Runry joined Alpha Company in 8th grade. A quite young man who was a little late in doing his homework. And his English wasn't that good neither. I'm not sure if it was through fear of me, but Runny decided to get up in the morning, put 2 feet on the floor, and say to himself, I will do my best, and I will be the best I can today. And he continued to do this day after day after day. I would challenge anyone to find a young man of his age with the maturity, dedication, loyalty, honesty, trustworthiness, and just odd, plain working drive. One of my favourite memories of Runny was when he was a first sergeant in Alpha. It was a weekend and we had academic restrictions sat in front of the office. Runny wanted to help the younger cadets with their math. He asked me for a dry eraser pen. I sat back as Runny started to write the problems on the windows of the office. By the time he'd finished, not only the cadets learned a lot, but I was a lot wiser. And I could no longer see through the window. Runny, please step forward. Runny, it's been an honour and a privilege to have played a small part in your life and development, and the cadets that you have touched and laid the path to follow. Would like to say thank you for this framed photograph of the class of 2018. Thank you.
So, now I understand Captain Green was trying to look out for me and let me go in front of Runny's speech instead of after. So, should have stayed on script, but I didn't. It's probably not going to surprise you at this point in time. We're not going to stay completely on script from this point forward. With one last thing we're going to do before we complete our battalion, our acting 8th grade battalion commander and soccer player. When we get complete here, he will take the core 7th and 8th grade outside and form them up for our final formation, which I invite all the parents, our faculty, and staff to come and observe. One thing I do want to talk to you real quick about, we're in 8th grade right now, and we're transitioning to high school. So it seems like a logical point in time that if you're going to do something different, that would be a point in time to do it. But what I want to suggest to you, and this seems counterintuitive, but the next, all your grades in high school are critical, but there are 2 years in your academic future that I would say are your 2 most critical years, and they have the same name. They're called your freshman year. Your freshman year, and this is a law of mathematics, you set a GPA in your freshman year, and that thing, as you add more numbers, each number after that becomes less effective in changing that number. So that first freshman year, you need to finish that year in high school and in college with the strongest GPA you have. So at that point in time, it doesn't waver much. Also, once you've accomplished that habit, you yourself don't waver as much, and you're more likely to repeat that. So what I want to suggest to you, and nationally, these boys, our young boys, moving into 9th grade, they get consumed and lost in these big places. What I'm recommending, though, is bring them back. Let's have one solid year. If you give them one thing, let's give them a very solid freshman year to come back to. After that, the effects of that, you secure that 4.0, and mathematically it doesn't waver as much after that fact. But we've got to get that solid freshman year in. No matter where we are, that's what we need. We've exposed them to some study skills right now that will carry them through a lifetime. We've exposed them to them. They haven't repeated that 800 times every morning before school has started. So I think, Ron, you touched on it when you say you're formed up at 7 o'clock in the morning in the cold North Georgia mountain air to march to breakfast. Not a lot of your teenage boys are going to voluntarily sign up for that. So what I tell you is, it's like making a kid brush their teeth. You know it's the right thing to do, you make them do it. They got to take out the trash. They got to clean the room. They got to put their shoes up. We make them do it. So we make that decision for them at this urge to get that critical freshman year next year and their freshman year of high school, college, There's one other thing I want to mention to you. This 8th grade class, so I got here at the very end of our current 9th grade class. This 8th grade class is my Commandant's crew. This class will be my first, the class of 2022, will be my first graduating class, pure as a Commandant here all the way through. So I look forward to carrying this through. I love seeing our soccer team represented up here, our PC, all these awards. The band was phenomenal. Real quick, I will hand it to Chief Giove. The last person that got me to whistle was probably Axl Rose. So hats off to the band and Chief Giove. So our admin notes, we're going to have our final formation out in the quad right outside. I'm going to ask the BC to form the corps up and march them out on the drums. I will then ask all the faculty, staff, and parents to meet us out there, and we will have our final formation for the class of 2022-23 on the quad. Thank you very much for coming. Mothers, happy Mother's Day from last Sunday. Parents, we very much appreciate you being here. Thank you, man.